What's up guys, Jake here with Ventor Visuals, and I'm so hyped to be showing you guys how to make this super smooth music video transition that I've used in a couple of my music videos. Now, you're gonna need Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe Photoshop to make this transition work the way I made it work. But if you don't have Adobe Premiere Pro or Adobe Photoshop, I'll include links below so that you can download the software. So let's jump right into it. So here I have two clips from a music video and then a layer with black bars on it. If we listen to the song back, you'll see that it has good pace with where this cut is happening. Okay, so we have clip 1 and clip 2. They're both slowed down to 45%. What I'm going to do is take this first clip and drag it a few frames above my second clip, just like that. And now I'm gonna tab over to the left about 8 frames. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm gonna make a cut right there. So what I'm gonna do is every 2 frames, I'm gonna tab over and I'm just gonna take a snapshot of the frame. So this very first frame, we're gonna start here and we're just gonna take a snapshot. So we're gonna say export frame right here, and we're gonna save it as test 1 to the desktop, and then we're gonna go 2 frames to the right, 1, 2. We're gonna take another screenshot. We're gonna say test 2, and then we're just gonna do this for the whole transition. So test 3. So we're just taking screen grabs of every 2 frames, naming them and saving them to the desktop. So once you've taken all your screenshots, all you have to do is go to wherever you saved them. For me, it was my desktop, and then once they were on my desktop, I put them in a folder called screen grabs. So as we can see here, we have the screen grabs labeled test 1 through 7. So what we want to do now is grab all these screen grabs and right click them, hit open with in Adobe Photoshop. I've already done this effect in some of these tabs at the top, so you can see what it'll look like once we're finished with it, but we're just going to start this effect completely from scratch. So the first thing I do to make this effect is we're going to go up here to the pen tool, and with your layer selected, we're just going to kind of like click around the layer, kind of like as if you were cutting him out like loosely with some scissors. And we're just gonna make a nice cutout of him. And then what you wanna do is you wanna come up here to the top left where it says mask and click that. Now that will cut him out from the rest of the background. So once we've got the object cut out, we wanna come down here to the bottom right and we wanna look up this effect called solid color. And this will go over top of our layer. So we're just gonna go with like a purple look, just like how I showed you in the example. We're gonna hit OK, and we're gonna hit create clipping mask. So that goes right over top of it, and we're just gonna go with an opacity of like, let's go with 25. So that looks good to me. So now what we want to do is click off that layer, come down here to the bottom right and hit this plus box to make a new layer. And then what we're going to do is hit B. That stands for brush in Photoshop. So it's going to give us our brush tool right here. And you can see we have a bunch of default brushes that we can use to kind of paint around him. I'm going to go ahead and go with this brush that I downloaded. I am just going to change the color to something like black. I'm going to hit OK. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint around some of the details in his face, in the background, maybe in his shirt a little bit. And what I like to do to really make this effect stand out is change the brush size around. So go with some smaller brush strokes, go with some bigger brush strokes. Obviously that isn't very noticeable, so let's increase the size a little bit. Let's go with some bigger ones. Let's go to like 19. That's cool. And maybe we'll put like some X's over his eyes, just like that. So you can do as much of this as you want. I like doing a lot of it. I think it really stands out and it's a really cool effect. So I will spend a lot of time like on each frame just kind of painting around the object or the person that I want to have this effect on. Come back to our layer right here at the bottom, and we're gonna come up to this tab at the top that says filter, and we're going to come down to noise and say add noise. So I like to add a little bit of noise just to give it a little bit of texture, just like that. And then we're going to hit OK. From here, the effect is like pretty much done. What you can do is play around with like some of these other effects. So you can do like a drop shadow on it if you wanted, which looks really cool. It looks almost 3D like. So we're just gonna turn the drop shadow off for now, just for this example. What we're gonna do from here is we're gonna go ahead and hit File, Export, Export as PNG, and we can save it to the same folder on our desktop. So we can just call this test1 PNG. hit save. So the next step would just be to do this exact same thing for all the different frames that we took a screen grab for. And I know this effect takes a while, guys, so you gotta be patient and spend a lot of time on the detail. So as you can see, we have test 1, which we did, and then there's test 2, test 3, test 4, test 5, test 6, test 7. So I would do the exact same thing I just showed you on each of these frames. And then I would save them all as PNGs, and I would come back to Premiere Pro. Now in Premiere Pro, if you come up here to your preferences and you go to preferences, timeline, you can tell Premiere Pro exactly how many frames to import of still images. So what I mean by that is if you import a picture, you can tell Premiere Pro that when you drag it into the timeline, you only want it to last for 1 to 2 frames. Maybe you want it to last 10 frames, but for this sake, we're only going to want our examples to last for 2 frames. So what we're going to do is just make sure our still image default duration on this timeline is 2 frames. We're going to hit OK. And then what we're going to do is come back to our Finder, go to your desktop, and then I'm going to go to the folder where I saved this cutout. You can see the cutout right here, and I'm just going to drag that into my timeline. So as you can see, it's only going to last for 2 frames. So if I go right 2 and left 2, you can see that it's importing with just 2 frames. We're going to drag this one over to the very beginning. So as you can see, we get the effect that kind of comes up right there. Obviously, the black bars are underneath it, so we want to make sure those are over top of it. And that is pretty much it. From there, all you would do is import the rest of your PNGs of the pictures that you cut out, colorized, painted on, and added some noise to. So if I zoom in to my other project, you can see there's a color grade on it, so it's a little brighter. So as you can see, we have each cutout lasting 2 frames. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. To kind of get this effect where it kind of like crawls up him and then goes back down into the frame for this transition to work. You can see here what I mean. Once you have all the cutouts placed over the footage, what you want to do is click on each cutout, come to your opacity tab, and add a mask. If I turn this mask off, if I just delete it, you can see the entire frame. So I actually drew out each frame, and then once I imported them into Premiere Pro, I just added the masking to it. So this is the first mask, so I added the opacity, the mask right here. All you need to do to add a mask is click on this pen tool, and then you can just kind of like click around. So if you wanted to like start down here, you can click around like that, so you can see it just kind of like masks the background. I just masked the first one differently, and then the second one is masked like this. So if I click on mask, you can see how I traced it out. And so then I masked the third one out differently, and then the fourth one is a little differently. So as you can see, I'm just cutting out each of these PNGs to make it look like it kind of like crawls up him and then it goes back down. So that's basically the entire effect, guys. I really like this effect. I think it's really dope. So let me know down in the comments what types of effects you want to see me recreate. And if you're a video editor who's looking to add some sauce to your visuals, check out my website, venturevisuals.com. I got a bunch of overlays, transitions, and more on there, and you can try each pack I've created completely free. Definitely check it out at venturevisuals.com, and let me know what you think down below. Let me know what type of products you want to see from me. Whatever it is, comment below. Make sure to like the video and subscribe. I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel. I'm trying to keep making dope filmmaking and editing assets for you guys. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I'm Jake Venner. Peace out.